Hello and welcome to the 82nd Planet Destiny podcast, sponsored by Blue microphones and headphones, and we actually have stuff to talk about. We have stuff to talk about this week. Oh my God, we have
sure
stuff
do.
to talk about. I don't know if you noticed, but Game Informer, you guys knocked it out of the park with some juicy Rise of Iron info. And now we're going to talk about it for about 2.5 hours.
Right? Give, before we even get going, though, I really want to give some credit to that article. It was 16 pages. That was chock full of information. Like, the writing involved, like, I was just picturing in my head the editing process of that article to break it, to get it as short as it was to that 16 pages was actually quite a feat because every paragraph had juicy details in it.
Seriously.
Basically, one page of their article I could make like a 20-minute video on.
Right.
So for them to get all of that and make it to be, you can understand it, it's clear, it's concise, and you also get all of that information. It was good. It was a good article and good images.
By the way, hi, True Vanguard. We have a guest.
Hi.
Yeah, we have a guest. We have a guest this week. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, what's going on? Glad to be here.
All right, so this is going to be a long episode, so let's just dive into this.
Let's do it.
All right, I think.
I'm gonna link,
First things first.
I'm going to link the Reddit page that we're going to go on.
So a Reddit user, EbolaxB, had an awesome summary of everything that was in the like all the articles Game Informer posted, the actual magazine or the digital magazine, the videos. Great little summary that he wrote up on Reddit.
Sure. All right. So the first piece of news here, and we're going to just hit this like point by point and discuss it as we go, but max level of 385 at launch. That is basically going to be your hard light cap up until the hard mode raid is coming out, which would be a number of weeks after the launch. And then it'll be raised up to 400 when you get gear from the hard mode raid. So max light level of 385, that's 50 light level over the 335 that we are now. And then endgame of 400.
Who called? Did somebody call 385? I think one of you guys said 385.
King of Pablo nailed it, actually. He's the guy who did the math for me. For the video that I did, and he nailed it.
Nice.
385,
nice.
like on the nose.
Good job.
Well done, King of Pablo.
We went higher than that for the hard mode, but yeah, nailed 385.
Yeah, because you guys calculated that off of the 355 in the video, and he had the basic ghost on, right? And so he calculated the light level difference.
Yeah,
nicely done.
He did good work.
Good job.
Yeah, really good job.
Briar, I know you were kind of. You were wanting the light level to be a significant increase.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about this, man. We got 385 to get going. Getting to 385 in the 3 days leading up to the launch of the Wrath of the Machine raid is going to be a real nightmare. But for most people, it's going to have some meat on that bone. Blue rare weapons and armor are going to be useful again in getting you up to about the 350 level. And then after that, you're going to be looking for legendaries and more stuff like that.
You think it's 350?
The grind is going to be real.
Yeah, that's what they said in the article is about 350.
Okay, yeah. Nice.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited because it was fun having blue items be useful again because you get so few opportunities to use those unless you're like True Vanguard and bring them into the Crucible with you.
Yeah,
I'm not the only one, but yeah.
Secret sweat tools.
But September 23rd is the launch of the raid, which I know there was like a collective groan for everybody who's hoping to compete for world's first.
When I read that statement, I was just like, God, no.
Yeah, it does two things too. I mean, it's like, okay, we get to see that raid right away, which is exciting. But we as streamers and content creators have to rush through content to try to make sure we can experience that. And that's a little sad because I would like to experience Rise of Iron for a week without the thought that I need to hit that level. But now those first 3 days are just going to be Oh my God.
Right. Grind City. What is the most efficient way of gaining the most light levels possible? The difference, though, right, is that last year we were basically starting from scratch. None of our weapons, none of our gear could really carry forward. So we went into that raid with whatever we had that was highest light, right? I went in there with an auto rifle called the Deal Breaker. I know you guys were in there with stuff that wasn't exactly optimal for raiding. This time, though, all our year 2 stuff is infusible. So we'll just be looking for high light level stuff, and we can infuse it into the stuff that we already have, that we already know is good, right? So if you got, that hung jury with Firefly on it, that's a good weapon. You can infuse that, bring it with you, and be confident that you've got a good set of weapons, a good set of armor to go into that raid with.
Yeah, it might be less of a grind.
I like that, and I don't like that at the same time. I love experiencing new things entirely, and being forced to use new stuff. I love that. But that's just me.
I think that's going to be coming with Destiny too. My guess is they're going to do like a big wipe of everything starting from first.
I hope
so. Just make so nothing comes forward.
Right, exactly.
Start.
Yes.
I love that. I'm more on that tip now more than ever.
Yeah.
Because
I think one of the biggest pieces of news that came out of this article, and probably the most game-changing piece of news, is the introduction of class-agnostic artifacts that allow for buffs to characters. You will now get artifacts that you can use on any character, any class, that will give you buffs to your character. And these are pretty game-changing, pretty important.
They're huge.
Real quick, I'm going to read through all 8 of them.
And then we can.
Do you want to go through all 8 like individually? Why don't we go through all 8 and then we'll talk about them?
Yeah. Read through all 8 and then we'll talk about it.
Memory of Radagast adds a new ability for sword-heavy weapons to reflect projectiles, including Ogre Blasts and Crucible Rockets. So it was confirmed today, actually, by Bungie that it would also reflect supers.
Novas.
Nova Bombs, Golden Guns. Stuff
hammers.
like that.
Anything that's a projectile.
Did it say Golden Gun?
Well, I think it's a projectile.
Any projected,
Any projectile.
That was my understanding.
Everything.
Golden Gun's hit scan, though. Whatever, keep going.
Yeah, we'll see. Memory of Perun adds ability to highlight Guardians with full super in yellow and Guardians with low health in red. Memory of Zolder removes sprint cooldown. Memory of Silmar dramatically reduces any damage dealt by damage over time effects, such as Thorn Poison. Memory of Fellwinter. Lose your super, but gain an extra grenade and melee and boosts to all stats. Memory of Gellion. Gain detailed radar at all times, including when aiming a primary. Grants precision radar and third eye. Memory of Scory. Speeds super recharge for all nearby allies. And the Memory of Timur. Melee an enemy for a chance to make them an ally for a short time. This only works in PvE, obviously.
Real quick, people are saying it was Shadow Shot, not Golden Gun, because apparently he didn't.
Oh, okay, Shadow Shot. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Hit scan. That does make sense, Patrick. It'd be hard to reflect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with Memory of Radagast. Adds a new ability for sword-heavy weapons to reflect projectiles, including Ogre Blasts and Crucible Rockets, and some
Swords
supers
are the new meta.
Crucible.
Right.
They're the new meta.
You have to imagine the montage is going to come out of people reflecting a Shadow Shot and tethering the enemy team with their own tether. I mean,
right. And then coming in with a sword to kill them all.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. That's
you know how people currently in Trials of Osiris in the 4th round they'll switch to Truth?
Yeah.
Now I see him switching to a sword and the Memory of Radagast, right? Is like definitely people are going to be switching out artifacts during a match.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So get that exotic arc sword, reflect stuff, and then shoot
then shoot him. Yeah.
Yes.
That's just mean, man.
That would be amazing.
In Iron Banner, like 6v6 game modes, I see this being huge. Somebody was talking about Mayhem in my chat today. Imagine Mayhem with a sword where you're not only using supers constantly, you also constantly have your heavy ammo, so you can constantly be reflecting supers, using supers, swiping at people with the sword.
Mayhem's just going to be a bunch of people blocking.
Right? Yeah. It's going to all of a sudden turn into a turtle fest. I mean, that sounds fun, man, and it's a game changer.
It sounds awesome.
It absolutely, especially with the Nova Bomb. I mean, the number of times, if you could pull out your sword and be like, "Kabam! No Nova. I'm not into this. No."
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's incredible.
Right, you know those teams that camp their spawn like the entire Trials match and then rush in with their Nova Bomb just to clear out the point and then take the point?
I'm just looking forward to doing a montage of sword play.
Montages.
Yeah.
That's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be so fun.
Yep.
As cool as it sounds, I also, on the other hand, I think it's definitely going to be kind of situational because how often, I'm assuming you have to have ammo, like heavy ammo in your sword in order to do it. So that's really not that often in PvP that's, I mean, you die once, it's rip.
It's gone.
For the rest of the match.
Yeah.
You had one shot and you blew it. So, yeah, realistically, how often is that going to play into it in PvP at least? I think in PvE it should.
Not that often.
There'd be some interesting ways you could use that.
I think the Ogre Blast.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
That is going to be fun.
It's going to open up some interesting challenges too. Be like defeat this raid boss with sword reflections.
Yeah.
You know,
going back into old raids,
definitely
especially.
doing it. He's
Dado's
doing it
happy.
already.
Yes.
Dado's going to be excited about that one.
Crota, you know how Crota like constantly is shooting that stuff at you? I wonder if that could be reflected back at him to damage his own shield.
Yeah. New way to solo him.
Right? Memory of Perun adds ability to highlight Guardians with full super in yellow and Guardians with low health in red.
I'm going to assume that only works when aimed on sight.
Don't know.
It doesn't. It doesn't
It doesn't specify. So if you can just see a bunch of people running around that are yellow or red, then you can really prioritize your targets.
That's gonna be huge.
That would be.
I know,
that would
especially
be
for sixes, because your ability to
sixes,
team shot them without a mic, or if you're on a team of blueberries, like it is perfect. You can see who's weak, team shot that, and also tell the supers so easily. Because I always forget that they're blinking, like the little name tags blinking.
Well, it's so hard to see too.
Yeah, it is hard to see.
Yeah, the great thing about this is that it's going to give you that without making you look for it. You don't have to like squint at the screen like, does he have it up, right?
Yeah.
So I see that actually being a lot more useful in trials because when you just have this blinking reminder that's hard to miss that that person has a super, it's going to change the way you approach the engagement. So
Absolutely.
Now, TV, normally you have pretty good communication with your team in trials. Do you think this would be necessary if your team already has really good communication? Like, you're going to know normally when people have supers.
For me, it's going to be a big deal because there's really only one day out of the weekend that I play with a set team that we communicate with. You know, my Friday runs with KJ Hovey and the Manigator, two fantastic people in the community, and we have a lot of fun doing it. But the other days, you're just playing with viewers, you're trying to help people out, maybe people who are a little less experienced. So in that regard, not having to try and force that team communication might be a little nice.
I don't think it's going to be aimed down sights, honestly. I think they're taking the software where when you die and you see somebody highlighted, granted you can see them through walls, but I think it's going to be that basic software that's taken over so they can be highlighted. That's my assumption when they're out in the open.
It didn't the fact that it didn't specify makes me feel like it's going to be all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Either way, it'd be very valuable.
It's valuable for sure.
Yeah. The Memory of Jolder removes sprint cooldown.
This is gonna be
I
big,
love this.
I think.
Yeah,
One, Striker Titans. Titans, constant shoulder charge.
Everything.
But even just non-Striker Titans, I feel like it's gonna be one of those things like when we use bones on a hunter, where you get so used to not having that cooldown that you're like, well, I can't play using anything else because I'm so used to playing like this. That's gonna be big. I think a lot of people will use that.
Memory of Silmar dramatically reduces any damage dealt by damage over time effects. This is the
when people are using Thorn. Put that on, and you're
right?
like, no, stop.
You see it in the. You're flying into Trials of Osiris, and you see 3 Thorn users.
You're like,
Yeah, Thorn was confirmed also in this little piece of statement on the article. They said yes.
Thorn is confirmed as coming back.
Yeah,
but there's other things that cause damage over time. Sunsingers now cause a lot of it. Yeah, incendiary grenades.
When I first saw that, I'm sorry, Watts, go ahead.
I was wondering if it would work on smoke, because that's obviously like
I thought, Envenomed, I wondered about that as My first reaction seeing it was like, why not before they nerfed Sunsinger
Yeah,
Firebolts?
that's what I thought too.
Right.
Maybe this will give them lots of opportunity to bring this back.
Well,
Yeah,
also
about that.
Also incendiary nades. I mean, there's a lot of time. Incendiary nades are great now, and they're back with the full damage. So if you get hit by it, you could negate that one hit kill that happens. You know. So.
Yeah, I feel like for PvP, that damage over time effect is just going to be, or the reduction of that on the artifact is just going to be so huge.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, what I like about this list, though, is that I'm constantly going to be switching them out. I don't see one item on this list that says, oh, I'm going to be running this all the time, right? I'm going to be constantly moving around these things.
Yeah, there's numerous ones that are very helpful.
Yeah. The next one is Memory of Fellwinter. I have one Memory of Fellwinter, and it's not a good one. Lose your super, but gain an extra grenade in melee and boost to all stats.
I would really think about using this on my Night Stalker because I don't play my Night Stalker for the super. I mean, it's nice to have the shutdown, right? It's good to have, but having the Wombo combo up all the time pretty much is like the best neutral game.
It also means you just need tier 10 to be able to have it maxed out because you don't have to worry about intellect.
Yep.
You know what I was wondering about this is if you have this equipped, I wonder if your super bar does fill up, but you just can't use it. Because I was wondering specifically about the Talaylock.
Yep.
I would guess is no. My guess would be no.
Yeah. That's my guess too. I imagine you equip it, your super bar goes away completely, and if you unequip it, it starts recharging.
Yeah.
Because
that would be my guess.
If you could charge up your super,
and then switch.
Oh my god!
That would
just
be
think
silly.
Stormcaller or something, with double melees and those.
Oh, that's gonna be a thing. That's gonna if I run Stormcaller, that's how I'm gonna run it in trials because I just get sniped out of my gourd every time I pop that thing.
What I'm wondering is, so will it stack with effects like Armamentarium or other effects?
I would think not. Normally they don't stack like that.
Yeah, exactly. In the current exotics, when you do have like the double fusion nades, like it doesn't give you a third one. So, right? Can you actually?
No, you can't get 3.
No, you can't have 3.
No, but I mean, is there exotic that gives an additional?
Well,
I don't run Warlock.
Well,
this is why I'm
you can't. So yeah. So to answer your question, you can't stack the Starfire Protocol and the ability that gives you an additional fusion grenade and get 3. So I'm assuming that's
what it is. Yeah,
it'll be the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one is Memory of Gellion. Gain detailed radar at all times, including when aiming a primary. Grants precision radar and third eye.
I like this. I like
on
always
No
having my radar.
Yeah,
sure it does.
Yeah, I mean, what's the hunter helmet?
The
Knucklehead radar.
Knucklehead radar. Yeah, that works with No Land Beyond, so I assume this would too.
Yeah, I actually used to always run Knucklehead with No Land Beyond because it worked so well to like be sniping, but also be always seeing your radar.
No, year one, I ran Knucklehead until Bones of Ao came out. Like that's all I used because that always having that information was really good. So for PvP, this is going to be a very strong artifact. Plus, if you're someone who uses Knucklehead right now, you basically have a new exotic that you can pick.
Right. Yeah, it opens up. It does that for a lot of subclasses. A lot of these do that for a lot of subclasses. People who normally run Armamentarium but don't necessarily like the super or don't get a lot of use out of that super will have more options. Like there's a lot of different options. The experimentation is going to be huge.
Yeah. This is actually one of them that made me go, wow. I mean, they're negating these exotics, or at least the Knucklehead, and also perks that are on guns. So that's major. Like
they're not necessarily really negating it. I mean, because if you switch to a different artifact, then you still are going to get the usage out of that. That perk on that gun or that exotic.
But you can still have another exotic, though. That's
right.
My thought is that it's removing the need for an exotic, and that exotic gives you something that is it's exotic status, so it's on a top tier level. And now you're getting it in a legendary artifact that you can equip with another exotic, which makes me go, whoa! I mean, that's really powerful.
They are very powerful.
These artifacts are game changing for sure.
They are.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that artifacts, are worth something.
Thing.
It's like, if you ask someone, hey, what artifact are you using right now? It's like, it makes my stats look good right now.
Right. The only people who cared about artifacts before were the two guys we had on last week's podcast who just read the text underneath them.
Oh, yeah.
The subtext for them was golden. And we were like, is it tier 12? No.
Don't care.
and then like artifacts are really annoying right now too, because you have one and it's like, it says all strength, but when I equip it, it ups my discipline. What? And then when you upgrade one of the other perks, it says this will upgrade discipline, and then it ups your strength. It's like a bunch of the stats are all backwards, and they don't actually do what they say they do. Oh yeah,
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that either.
My artifact is just busted. It says it does.
You got a busted artifact.
Yeah, and it's the Galler Fist too. So it's like I'm not gonna. It's the Galler Fist, man. I'm not gonna dismantle this thing.
Fist?
Yeah.
I didn't know
there was a Galler Fist in the game.
Yeah, there's a Galler Fist.
I haven't seen that one.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's busted. That's why it's Galler.
Yeah. It's because it's broken. It doesn't. The stats don't work on it.
Yeah, working as intended.
Yeah.
All right, Memory of Scoria. This is the one that I thought that everybody who does trials carries is going to require their teammates to use. Speeds up super recharge for all nearby allies.
This makes me a little scared because of electrostatic mine on Stormcallers. So I'm just wondering.
We got to find out if it stacks.
Yeah, we need to know if it stacks. We need to know if it stacks with multiple people using the artifact as well.
Yeah, we also got to know how useful it is. If it, does it, like if you get 5 kills, normally you get a super. With using this, if you get 4 kills, do you get a super? Like how much does it actually do?
How much does it actually shave off of time?
It could potentially be scary. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And also, is there a cap if you're already at max intellect? Because what if it actually affects your intellect essentially in the code?
It's a good question.
There is a limit to it, so you might not be useful for some stat ranges.
Yeah. Well, like I could see like a Defender Titan wearing this because everybody comes to that bubble, collects the orbs, and then gets out of there, or they hang around for a little bit, get that weapons of light or armor of light.
That'd be great in PvE, right? Because everyone's always around the Defender Titan.
Yeah, in the current raid, it'd be awesome where everybody's static and they often like converge on the same spot for long periods of time.
Yeah.
I don't know how useful it'll be in the next raid. It sounds like it's going to be more mobile, but
yeah.
Right.
Memory of Timur, melee and enemy for a chance to make them an ally for a short time.
No one wants to play PvE with me because I'm literally just going to be running around stabbing things.
Right?
Just punching things.
And dying.
This only works for 30 seconds. Which is a little bit unfortunate. I was hoping to create an army.
I know.
Did they say whether or not you can actually have multiple?
They haven't said yet.
There's a lot of question marks there.
Yeah.
A lot of red bar health enemies die in one hit, so
exactly.
You have to be selective too.
But if you could get like a knight or a captain on your side, that could actually be really helpful.
Yeah, like if the mob has a shield on it, you're probably good.
Yeah.
Randall the Vandal.
You're mine.
So that's it. I mean, there is a question mark kind of. There's 2 Iron Lords that don't have artifacts. There's
Aphrodite
and Salad
Face.
They also
we don't know.
had an image on the article that showed the circle of artifacts, and there was a question mark.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
there could be a
they're
knife.
going to add more.
Right. There could be more. There could be more. Maybe they also mentioned that as you get these artifacts, you're going to get them by completing a quest with a new vendor in at Fellwinter's Peak. As you complete the quest to get this, you'll come back to that vendor. I can't remember her name. It's like Terra something.
Terra Karn or something?
Terra Karn, I think you are. Tyra Karn.
Mm-hmm.
Tyra Banks. Once you come back to the tower after completing the quest, Tyra Banks will give you a selection of 3 different artifacts that you can select from. The selection will rotate once a week. So theoretically, you can get all of these after 8 weeks, depending on which one you selected, and if they all come back at the same time. If it's the same block of artifacts that comes back, or if they rotate, like maybe 1, 3, and 7 come back are in week 1, but then in week 9 it's 1, 2, and 4, so they might not come back at the same time. So maybe it'll take 8 weeks, maybe it'll take longer than that, depending on kind of RNG.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that first week's gonna be interesting and be like,
it will be. What's the first one? Yeah.
What do I do? I don't know what to do.
Do they say if sorry if you already said this, but do they say if it's character account specific or character specific that you get to choose from her?
I don't think they specified.
Don't think they said. I haven't seen anywhere.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder if I wonder if you can just like
get all
three of them.
Get all three the first week, so then it's only going to take you 3 weeks to.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
say the repeats.
It depends on how they introduce the artifacts, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just.
You guys.
It's not connected to the record book, right? It's connected directly to Tyra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be that you could do it 3 times, one on each character. You get all 3.
So do you guys
I doubt
think
it though, because they specifically said 8 weeks. It would take at least 8 weeks.
They did specifically say 8 weeks.
They did, yeah. Yeah, probably then. It counts.
Also, once you get these artifacts, you can bring them to Feldwinter's Peak to the temple and light fires underneath the corresponding Iron Lord statue. And something's going to happen when you light all those fires, right?
It sounded like they were being
one.
really secret. It sounded like they were being really secret about what
comes out.
You get the new Aphrodite spear and artifact.
Right?
Yes, the
final
round.
The most impact in the game.
Confirmed final round of returning.
Oh no!
And her artifact the artifact like stops you from getting final rounded.
Prevents final round and deals final
round. Prevents all bonus damage effects on your character. There you go.
Love it.
Perfect.
Do you guys think there's going to be more than 8? Like speculation wise.
Yeah,
I do.
I don't think you include that question mark circle if you don't intend to fulfill it. You know what I mean?
Well, that was Game Informer though. That's how they presented it.
I'm assuming they presented it that way because they were given that graphic. That's my assumption.
Oh, you think?
Yeah,
I assumed
probably.
They had put those together, and that's how they wanted to display the information in the article, so you can click on it. It was interactive, and they had like that 9th one to include that information about Aphrodite potentially being alive and out there. And what else? I can't remember what else it said in that paragraph.
I'm guessing Bungie gave them that info though.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think they're gonna release these, and then we're suddenly get excited about a 9th one that drops, and maybe even an exotic one.
Right.
I'm sure we'll like data mine something.
Maybe it's Lord Saladin's.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It could be either one of them.
Or maybe it's ours.
Oh my God. Maybe like
once
we're an Iron Lord.
We get to forge our own. Right? Or like maybe Lord Saladin dies in like the storyline or the raid or something, and then we recover his
no more Iron Banner
artifact.
We are Iron Lord.
I know we're Iron Lords now. We can start our own.
We can just run our own Iron Banner.
We can make our own Iron Banner and hookers and blackjack.
Dedicated servers.
There you
go. So there's going to be a bunch of new cosmetic adjustments for armor and weapons. We heard about ornaments. Yes. This is a pretty big change to the way we modify our weapons and our armor. These things will be basically attainable in 2 ways. Either you earn them in game. They specifically talked about the Trials of Osiris. You can only get Trials of Osiris armor ornaments by going to the lighthouse.
Yep.
So some of them will be rare in that you can only get them in certain ways. I'm sure there will be some for other activities too. Yep. But then there will also be a replacement to Sterling Treasure that you'll be able to buy, and they will kind of randomly award them for exotic weapons and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You'll be able to buy those or earn them. Currently, you can get treasures by doing like a Challenge of Elders or the weekly Vanguard playlist. And like the Crucible Daily.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of ways to earn Sterling Treasures. They're getting replaced, but it sounds like they're going to be much the same, but they're going to include these ornaments in them.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about ornaments.
Yeah.
So excited. And the fact that we are getting something that will visibly show what activity we're into or what we're good at in the game makes me so happy.
Yeah.
I'm so happy about
it. And it sounds like so did you guys look at the Kvastov's perk tree?
Yeah.
Did you see the 2 things at the very end on the far right? I think that's probably where the ornaments go.
Yeah,
that's where you plug in the ornaments.
That's what we're betting.
Yeah, so that would make total sense.
If all the weapons have something like that where you can actually plug in 2 ornaments, and we know that you can change the geometry and the color, that opens up a lot of lot of customization options. You know, you can have a green Monte Carlo with, you know, some kind of, I don't know, geometry modifier. I don't know what that'd be. Maybe the blade is, you know, pointing backward. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. It's a horn. Yeah, I love it.
It's a roulette.
But yeah, I mean, huge change to customization. And I really,
and the fact that all class items that have ever been in the game, besides raid ones, are coming back.
Yes, yes, and they'll be shader compatible.
Yes.
I was really excited about that because my favorite class item in the game was the year one cloak called a very old. I think it's just called a very old cloak. It was like really tattered and torn. I love that.
Yeah, me too. I still have all my old capes because I just love them so much. And we're going to be able to get them. And it's super exciting as well because now we have so many more items that are in the loot pool for us to get. It's not just like, oh, I can get one of 2 capes. It's I can get all the capes.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm really excited.
Fearful. I'm fearful for this.
Why?
Because if they change the color scheme on my Dead Zone Revolution cloak, there will be hell to pay. if shaders change that, like you can make shaders change everything else. I don't care. But if you affect my Dead Zone Revolution cloak,
well, you can always just run it without a shader. You know,
then my armor will look like ass.
Then you look like poop.
Sacrifices must be made.
No. I demand to not have to change anything about my setup.
Well, that's going to be a bummer.
I'm excited to be able to get like a modification on a last word and make it look different. What's really cool is that, like you said, it's actually changing the geometry. So they're different gun models that are associated with these ornaments. And that's cool because obviously that was not possible with last gen. Just straight up. There was not enough room. Yeah. So dropping that adds this possibility now. So you can get like a Trials of Cyrus one. I'm hoping that there's a raid one, you know, like raid ornaments that drop.
I would assume there would be.
Yeah.
It makes sense. There's going to be ornaments maybe only from the hard mode raid or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Completing hard mode,
And imagine if there's an ornament for every exotic weapon. So that means the amount of loot.
It sounds like that's the
I'm so excited.
Plan. Well, I don't know if there will be an ornament for every exotic weapon as much as all the exotic weapons will be able to take all of the ornaments.
Oh, I didn't take it that way.
No, you took it. I read it. There'd be specifically ornaments for certain exotics.
Yeah, like you go to the lighthouse, you pop that chest, and then all of a sudden you got a Thorn skin.
That was my understanding. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm with you, Tuff. That's the way I read it.
All right.
Yeah. Or you defeat the end boss on the raid, and you just got a Monte Carlo ornament. Be like, whoa, I got the raid Monte Carlo ornament, you know?
That's still awesome because you're going to be grinding for that one weapon that you love all the time, right? And you're going to want to get all the ornaments for that weapon.
Exactly.
You know what would be cool? Yeah. Like, this isn't going to happen this time, but what would be cool is if you could get modifiers. Like, if you could get an extended mag for your Monte Carlo, or you could get, you know, like a silencer for it, you know?
Damage over time for your last word.
No, that wouldn't be cool.
No.
Impossible.
But there's an artifact. Come on.
Wolfpack rounds on my No Land Beyond.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
There's going to be a new Rise of Iron record book, so similar to the Sparrow Racing League or the Year 2 Moments of Triumph, you'll be getting this record book. And when you complete quests in it, as you kind of fill up your meter of completed quests, you'll be awarded Rise of Iron gear. Iron Lord gear specifically. So new armor, new ghosts, new special class items, like all of that stuff will be awarded by completing quests in this Rise of Iron book.
Yep.
I wonder if that stuff's going to drop at a certain light level, or if it'll be smart loot where it drops at the light level you're at, or if it'll drop like Sparrow Racing League at light level 3 and you'll have to infuse it.
It'll probably be light level 3 and you have to infuse it.
I'm thinking it's light level 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be no help getting ready for the raid.
You're already planning.
Just formulating.
Like, is the book going to be useful?
Iron Banner is getting reinvented. 4 new maps. No more tempered. Less
Iron
rep
Banner's
needed overall.
Iron Banner's getting some pretty big changes.
Yeah, so the tempered perk buff is going away. So as you play it, it's going to be, you get the same amount of rep on Tuesday as you get on Monday. Less rep is needed overall to actually level up, so you'll just have to play less overall to level up your characters. And there will be no more rep bonuses from gear, so you could dress however you want, wear whatever emblem you want.
I don't have to be ugly.
I already dress how I want to anyway.
Yeah.
But you get less rep.
I know.
You're punished. You're punished for being.
I know. I'm punished for being me.
Unique.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly,
it's not right, man.
The
it's not
past
right.
few Iron Banners, I've actually specifically not worn the shader emblem or even the I wore the cloak because it had a certain light level, or I mean tier to it. But I was more interested in trying to get the items to drop before rank 5, because after rank 5 the loot changes, right?
Yeah.
And then you get the ship and all that.
I was doing that before they changed the loot system, but after they changed the loot system, it didn't seem to matter as much. Like I seemed to be getting guns at rank 1 and guns at rank 5. It didn't seem to matter.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think I played too much after rank 5, so I didn't know, but I assumed it was that way.
And normally I just switched over to another character.
Yeah.
I'm just pumped for new maps.
Yes.
Yeah, new
That's
maps
the part of
are
that
great.
that excites me the most.
Yeah, 4 new Crucible maps, or 3 on Xbox and 4 on PlayStation, right?
Did you mention the bounties also? Right.
Yeah, the bounties are big.
The bounties are going to be getting easier.
Well, and also they're going to reward items now.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you complete them.
So you're guaranteed
a weapon or an
armor
armor piece.
Huge.
Yeah, if you complete a bounty, that's massive. Now, do you think it's every day? Also, do you think that the green ones are going to give you weapons and armor every day?
I don't know.
I don't know. It might just be the weekly.
You might just be the weekly ones.
I feel like you'd get way too much stuff if it was like 3 a day.
But maybe they learned their lesson. That's what we want.
They're just give them.
Hey, we want way too much stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, these rolls suck most of the time, so I need a lot of these things if I'm going to get a good roll.
Exactly. Take the Diablo approach. It's okay to shower us with legendaries. Just they don't have to be god rolls.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to the old system where I never got that pistol. The hand cannon. Never got it. Never dropped for me. 3 characters ranked up to level 5.
Timur's
just
Lash.
Never freaking the Timur's Lash. Was it Timur's Lash? The year 2 one?
No,
that was year 1, I think.
Year
one
one,
was Timur's Lash.
Oh, year 2 one.
You're talking about Finalis Peril.
Yeah, Finalis
that's
Peril.
what it is.
Never got one to drop.
I'm so sorry.
I know, right? Hopefully, and I've been hoping it comes back. I've been hoping with this new loot system.
I've only had one Eyes Luna, and it's on Xbox. So
Me too. I've only got one too.
Also, it's going to be Supremacy.
Oh,
Iron
right.
Banner.
We didn't talk about
Yes.
Supremacy.
Oh,
at
that's
all.
right. Supremacy.
Yeah.
Which leads us into Supremacy, if we want to talk about
Yeah. So, have you guys ever played Kill Confirmed in?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun as hell game mode.
It was my favorite
that
game
game
mode.
It was my
That's
favorite
a
too
lot of
because
fun.
it promotes a lot of movement. It promotes aggressive play. It promotes a lot of baby buffalo just running into the middle of maps to pick up that that one friggin' tag that's sitting there in the middle, and then you
baby
pop him
buffalo.
off, and his tag is now waiting for the next baby buffalo, and you pop him off, and his tag is waiting for the next baby buffalo.
All that
You just
buffalo,
sit there,
man.
you sit there killing baby buffaloes.
So
It's
great.
it's a
enjoy
really
it.
fun game mode. It really does promote fast gameplay and a lot of fun and good tactics too.
Yeah. And also, so if you get the kill, and their teammate runs over and picks up, it looks like engrams that drop. They're called crests. They're calling them crests,
Yeah.
but they're basically engrams that drop. If they pick it up, you earned no points for the team. You got a kill, but there's no points.
I think
earned.
kills
You
are
gotta
still
get
going to
it
count as points.
Did it? Well,
Do
I
it.
thought,
Didn't look like it.
I thought I read
It
that.
looked like it to me.
If it's true blue kill confirmed, it won't.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna go 100% objective based with it, like just
Yeah.
crests.
Okay.
Crests are the
Yeah,
objective.
because if we saw the score, like on the little clip that we
was
saw
really
as well, the
small.
score, it's like 140 or something,
Yeah.
or 130. It looks like it was something around between 120 and 140 or something.
Yeah, just imagine you fly in, death from above, boom, breaker. Yes, this is amazing, and then you
And
die
you
from a
snipe.
sniper.
Then you
and
die.
the guy runs
Sniped,
in,
And no
Yeah.
points
points those
awarded.
4
Yeah.
crests, and then gets a kill.
Yeah.
And you're like, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm
it's
excited
fun.
to
It's
see
also
how this
fun.
works.
Like if you got a teammate who's a really good sniper, you can have him be in out there shooting the guys while you're collecting all the coins.
Well, you got your Might of Multi-tool out, just
yeah, right. Yeah,
zipping through with your bones.
Hell yeah.
It does promote. It does, but there is going to also be a Rumble game mode for this, so you will be able to do it, kind of on your own.
Yeah, that sounds insane.
Really?
When I read Rumble, I was like, Rumble?
Yeah.
I didn't even read that.
Yep.
Yeah,
that was
it's
in there.
Inferno.
Oh,
So
nice.
regular, Inferno, and Rumble are the 3 modes that's going to come in.
That's
Interesting.
gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're adding it to everything, pretty much. You can play Supremacy everywhere.
Right?
I'm
Seriously.
happy with
Radiant Treasures. I mentioned this a little bit before. Radiant Treasures are replacing Sterling Treasures. They are going to be available through microtransactions or by completing certain events inside Destiny. They will contain ornaments. They seem to be a new version of the Sterling Treasures, obtainable on a weekly basis for completing goals, and then also through the Eververse. So microtransactions moving forward. I wonder what will happen to Sterling Treasures. I wonder what will happen to the Taken gear set, like that. Is that going to be gone forever? Will it carry forward into Radiant Treasures, and collect it now, or forever hold your peace?
Maybe I think they'll still probably have Sterling Treasures purchasable the same way
both.
Old emotes are purchasable and stuff.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
They'll just make it, I don't know, cheaper, like 100. Is it it's 200 sterling, or it's 200 silver to buy a Sterling Treasure right now? Correct?
I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't bought
I've
one
never purchased one. I've never purchased one. I figured Watts would know. You?
I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
All right.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 200.
Guys, I have a confession. I haven't opened up my Sterling Treasures since, I think, May.
Yeah.
They've
been piling up.
Wow.
For like
I opened 10 of them
video?
today because I thought I'd been taking a while.
Oh, I got you beat.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to wait until the end of August to make a video on it. Be like,
Opening
budget.
40.
budget, no cost, loot package, Sterling Treasure opening video. Boom.
Do it Holtzman style with one treasure per
the
video.
one that
Hey, I opened one Sterling Treasure over 3 days. Thank you very much. I had 3 separate videos for one Sterling Treasure. No,
I opened those babies up because I need my magenta chroma, and I can't get any.
Yeah.
I need my warlock to look really pretty.
Hey, you're right.
Tefty, what you need to do is you need to sit on those Sterling Treasures, like Magic the Gathering card, like boxes of Magic the Gathering cards, like unopened,
right.
And you buy a box of them, keep it still shrink wrap perfectly, and you go set it on top of your closet, and you forget about it for like 10 years, and you come back, and you're like, holy shit, I have like 20 Sterling Treasures. And you start opening them, and it'll just be like nostalgia, and they're like, "Oh my god, I've never seen that gear before. It's amazing."
I love it, man.
Do that.
That does
wait
make
10
me wanna
years.
hold
Wait
out.
10
I like
years
it.
to
Wait 10
open
years.
those.
I like
Wait
it.
the entire lifespan of Destiny.
Destiny 10.
Here's
Sterling Treasure opening.
the only problem is I don't have any of the Taken gear. I kind of want that.
Oh, yeah. You want to get that emote, too.
Oh, the emote.
The emote is so cool, man.
I think that gear looks so ugly. I think I'm in the minority, but I see that on people, and I'm like, oh, this is so bad.
I shoot at
ugly.
them. Like, when they're on my fire team, I'm like,
ah! See, that's the thing. You can see them, you're like, God damn, it's ugly. Taken. And then you're like, oh, it's your...
But I love the emote, how he's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, the emote's cool.
I don't mind the emote, yeah.
Huh.
You gotta get one character, like, fully loaded up to get that emote.
Yeah, you're right.
But if you got like 30 of them, that shouldn't be a problem.
Hopefully
Yeah, I mean,
not.
it's
right.
both on PS4 and Xbox. So I got 2 sets of Sterling Treasures to open.
Next topic, Bungie hints at custom matches. Quote, we are adding a feature that our community has been clamoring for.
And it's worth noting that that quote is from Lars, who is on the Crucible team.
So before we think it's custom matches, let's speculate.
No, we think it's
what
custom
the community.
matches.
Right, we think it's custom matches, but let's speculate what it could be that the community's been asking for. That we would all.
What else have they been asking for?
God.
Ranked playlists.
Okay, ranked.
Yeah, that's
Dedicated
there's
servers?
Also,
Dedicated servers.
there's also a difference between a custom match and a private match.
That's true enough.
Is there?
True enough. Yeah.
So, so the question is, if that's the direction they're going, does this mean we get to customize the
rule
score
set?
cap, all those things that
see.
you could do like in Halo, or is it just a private match? Hey, we're gonna do private skirmish match here, 3v3. We pick our teams, we go into it.
Right.
I'm really hoping for custom matches. I'm happy
either way, honestly.
Private matches would be a good secondary alternative, but custom matches would be far more fun because you could just you could go
For sure,
crazy
for
with the rules.
Well, I mean, say you got private matches. You're still having to form the group yourself, so you can set the rules yourself. Like
in Halo, though, you could literally set the health of enemies, so you can do like one-shot kill and
you can do speed.
There's all sorts of fun stuff you can
jump
do.
height.
Okay.
I think as long as we can like set the limit, like time limit and score limit and stuff, that would be really cool. Hopefully, it's not just like play skirmish, regular rules, everything is the same.
I mean, honestly, though, private matches would be a huge improvement. I mean, definitely the competitive community would be all over that. But I would be all over it for streams and just getting people in
testing,
and just being able to mess around. Testing weapons.
That's right.
You can like take a look at the maps and talk about have a whole series about the maps and the
go in there on your own.
People will find more cheese spots.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was talking
shout
about
out to a guy in the
spots.
community. If you've never seen content from Asteroid in the community, player named Asteroid, he has located cheese spots on pretty much every Crucible match, and a map, not match. Listen to what I mean, not what I say. And they are incredible spots. So check them out sometime.
Did you guys see those wires in last week's Trials maps, where you could get up above last week's Trials map on what's it called?
Asylum.
Where you could get up above, like the middle area on these wires and shoot down at people.
I didn't see
The
that.
wires? I didn't see the wires.
Oh yeah. That's an old cheese spot.
I've never seen anybody use it before, and it seemed like the community really latched onto it on Monday, and I started seeing a lot of people using them. All right, next up, new faction, armor set, Sparrows, and Ghost Shells. So this is something that we suspected, we weren't positive about, but New Monarchy, Future War Cult, Dead Orbit, the Vanguard, the Crucible, all getting new gear sets. I would expect to see some brand new stuff and some reskin stuff here.
Well, they mentioned as well in the article that it's going to be more obvious than ever which faction you are repping.
Nice.
So that definitely
Versace New Monarchy theme they got going?
Yeah. So that definitely hints at having like total new armor sets. The fact that they're going to look totally different, because you're going to see someone and be like, you look like New Monarchy.
The New Monarchy stuff they showed off in the reveal definitely looked like Dusk Render. It was like the same geometry we currently have. But
maybe we can change the geometry with ornaments.
Ornaments, that's right.
There you go. I wonder if there will be New Monarchy, Future War Cult, and Dead Orbit ornaments.
Ooh.
You know, that's probably a really safe bet to place.
Yeah. Well, they're introducing ghosts and sparrows now that are going to be in there. So that's a first. Yeah, having like you can have a New Monarchy or Dead. I mean, supposedly there's a Dead Orbit one, but already,
who cares?
But, let's be honest.
Actually, that's a really good one.
That is, it's a tier 12 one, but there wasn't true ghosts, factions and sparrows. So this is interesting that they're adding that. I hope they add ornamentation, although it'd be something that I'll probably never ever get, because it'll be like rank 100, still haven't got the ornamentation yet.
Well, if they keep the ranks, if they keep the amount of rep you get now, like I've been going through packages like crazy lately. Like you get a lot of it, especially if somebody pops a booster. Oh, that doesn't work with the.
I can just dump my motes into the.
That's what I do.
That's true.
Yeah, motes.
And your heavy ammo.
Motes
Trade
and
your
everything.
coins for heavy synth and heavy synth for that whole process.
That's always good.
Thorn is coming back. There's going to be a quest to obtain it, just like Galahorn.
Fucking done.
I never thought they'd bring it back, honestly.
Really?
It caused so much of a headache, but that's mostly due to the fact that they didn't do anything about it
for like 9 months.
Yeah, they just let it sit there.
And then when they made a change to it, it was like, oh yeah, we're like kind of lowering the damage. Like, but the damage over time, I can still keep you from regenerating your shields. And they finally, I think it was like the April update. They finally.
It was the April update. Yeah.
Curb stomped it a little bit.
Yep.
And still, I think it's bullshit that damage over time even exists in PvP, much less on a peak.
Well, now there's
primary
an artifact
weapon, but now there's an artifact that where if it really bothers you that much, you can use that artifact. But then I'm forced to use that artifact.
We have a way to play against it.
But hold up. That artifact, if I recall correctly, it said that it significantly reduces the damage, right?
It doesn't delete it.
So you're still going to have a tick on you, and they're
still
going to
shield
see
regen.
It's going to be like one, and your shield won't regen.
Well, hopefully it not only will reduce the damage, but it'll also reduce the time.
I don't think so. I think it's just damage, because I think they would have said it would have reduced time and damage.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm not using that thing if it doesn't reduce
right?
the time, because it's almost useless. Because Thorn damage over time doesn't actually hurt you that much anymore, the way that Thorn is set up.
You haven't seen year 3 yet. What if?
Yeah, but I assume they're not going to make too many changes to it, because if they do any buffs to it, it's going to become an overpowered beast again. So if they just leave the Thorn alone and just bring it up to year 3 power levels, like Thorn is kind of fine the way it is. If you bring that into regular Crucible, it's a fine gun. It's not it's not killing it or anything.
True, but it stacks.
I might
also.
I might drop the range stat on it a smidge, but that's just me.
Yeah. Okay. It stacks as well, right? Can't you, like, 2 Thorns?
It does stack, yeah.
Yeah, and also Incendiary stacks with it, so that artifact is a lot more useful outside of just Thorn.
Right.
Yeah.
PvP.
Yeah, definitely.
But at the same time,
like we were saying in the beginning, though, it's like if you go into Trials and you see like 3 people using Thorn Sunsingers, you might want to throw that artifact on.
Yeah, you're going to throw that artifact on. My other...
Screw this now.
Absolutely.
That damage over time artifact also makes me think that there's going to be more damage over time effects put into the game, like with Siva coming in.
Oh my god.
Possible Siva modifications.
Probably.
Dude, that I'm just
scaring me.
I
do not want to have multiple Thorns.
Multiple Thorns. Mentally preparing
Dual wield
myself
Thorn
for,
confirmed.
Dots on everything. Possibly. That artifact is going to be my
final shot of an exotic sniper causes damage over time, and if it's a body shot, it will kill.
And then if they die from the dot, it explodes into Wolfpack rounds.
Oh god, Siva, why you do this?
Do you guys? There's a new Siva infused scout pulse rifle that's going to kind of work like Firefly, but instead of exploding the head on a headshot kill, it kind of releases this mist that's going to then seek out enemies.
So
and do damage on.
Sounds cool.
Wolfpack rounds?
Kind of.
What?
Actually, there was a really long Reddit contest / thing where Reddit designed an exotic weapon over the course of like 12 weeks, and I believe it's called Price of Exile, and it's like a full auto Vision of Confluence archetype scout rifle with aggressive ballistics, accurized ballistics, smart drift control, full auto.
This is a real weapon I'm talking about. This is actually going to be in the game.
I know, but the main perk on it was precision kills will cause your target will cause that target to like spawn an Axion dart or an Axion bolt that will seek out enemies. So they basically were like, whoa, so it looks like Bungie might actually be designing, or they kind of took the idea of that possibly.
So this thing probably will do damage over time, right? Is this energy cloud? I don't know if it'll be like an Axion dart where just if it hits you, it does.
Or more like a skip grenade, maybe.
Yeah.
With the sort of ting ting ting
ting ting ting. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Man, if there's a damage over time effect on like, I don't know. That's
temper your expectations now, Tefty, because I'm pretty sure that shit's going to be coming in full force.
Oh my
god!
I
mean,
if you even think about that,
if you're on a team and somebody gets headshot and that mist is near you, you're going to have to be aware of that. You know.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to get salty and start complaining, and it's going to be bad.
You might as well start now.
That's why we keep it around.
Yep. Salty.
The Kvastov 7G0X is a new exotic auto rifle with a fire mode selector. It can be basically a scout, pulse, or a auto rifle.
Yep.
It's got a shit ton of perks, including the rate of fire being selectable from 900 RPM or 450 RPM. It's got counterbalance, hard force.
There's so many.
It's got rifle barrel.
And
the other one.
There's basically they say in the video that there's over 100 basically loadouts you can do with this gun. It's got no exotic perk. The exotic perk is the customizability of this weapon.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to checking this thing out, man. This thing's gonna be fun. Yeah,
it's really
cool.
Did
in
you
the video,
see the Game Informer video where they had the RPM at the highest, and it's just the most ridiculous fire rate I've ever seen.
They didn't seem to have the stability perk. Patrick, you mentioned that earlier before we started the show, but it did look like it was bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, I think it's like it can choose between like counterbalance, extended mag, and rangefinder in one of the trees or something.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think he was using extended mag in it, so the recoil was still pretty like side to side,
but just its base stats, it wasn't particularly high. So you're definitely going to want to help that thing out if it's available.
No, I mean like there are so many. I think they said there's over 100 different options, like 100 different combinations that you could choose.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like.
Fuck sounds like a balancing nightmare.
Yeah, right? I'm looking forward to reviewing this one, man. Oh, boy.
I look at a weapon like this, I'm like, okay, so you can be a scout, you can be a pulse, you can be a high rate auto rifle, medium rate. You can't be the best at all those because then it negates all these other weapons in the game. So they have to be like mediocre to good. They can't be, oh my god. Unless
I don't know. Like, what if it just so happens that if you select 900 RPM on the pulse rifle, it becomes a beast? You know,
it's the one winning combination,
right? Like all of a sudden, the thing is just a monster.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think its versatility is what makes it exotic.
Right, absolutely.
Like that's the whole idea behind it.
It's certainly a cool idea.
That you could see it in someone's hand on the other team, and still not know how to approach it. You know,
absolutely. But my biggest thing about that weapon is it would be perfect if it was like we were talking before the podcast. It'd be perfect if it was like in Call of Duty where you could hit a button and then you could switch it from a single shot to a burst shot.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, on your controller.
Opening your menu.
I just need 108 more buttons on my controller.
Right. Well, or instead of the wave button, you know, like when you equip that exotic, it cuts the wave and then you can switch the barrels or switch the mode of the weapon. That would make that exotic like fly
right. Like if you're in a bunch of long range engagements, you can have it single fire. And then once you get close up, you can switch it to auto.
That'd be ridiculous.
That'd be fun.
If it was just good in those ranges, but you could switch them that fast, then we'd be talking.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking forward to reviewing that one for sure. I love all the different possibilities. I am kind of in agreement with you, Tefty, that it's probably going to be a
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Master of none. But
I wouldn't be surprised though if all of a sudden somebody finds that one set of perk combinations where, oh my god.
I don't know. I feel like they created that gun probably out of just the sheer volume of request of people wanting some sort of exotic, some sort of upgraded version of the Kvostov. So, and they probably couldn't decide, well, what do we want to do with it? Oh, fuck it.
Let's do everything.
Do everything with it.
Everything.
Full boat.
Also, do you guys know if like the RPMs were only associated with the full auto?
I don't know.
I thought it was just the full auto.
I thought it was too, but like I couldn't find where they specifically said that.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to change it. It'll change the rate of fire for all modes of it as well.
Yeah,
really?
which makes sense, right? Because otherwise that perk slot would be useless when it's scout or pulse.
Man,
that's true.
Like if you could change it between a slow firing scout and a fast firing scout, like that's way cooler than if it's just.
Yeah, it's 6 archetypes in one weapon. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
Sepix Prime is back as Sepix Perfected, and the summoning pits will be the Abomination Heist.
Yep, they're getting Sivavized.
Yeah.
That excites me. I miss those strikes. I do, and I'm a PvP guy. But so much of year one is all these great memories of doing those strikes over and over and over again.
Yeah, I really like the Devil's Lair. It was the first strike I ever played, obviously, in the alpha, and it's always had a special place in my heart, so I'm glad it's making a comeback.
Yeah, they said that Rise of Iron was all about nostalgia, right? They were making it to, we go back to these places where we're like, oh, I remember this, and then I think that's really awesome. I love having that feeling, going back to something that's different. You can get new armor from it, new weapons, but it still brings that nostalgia back.
Yeah, with the Abomination Heist, which is the summoning pits, they mentioned that it'd be significantly more difficult than it used to be, too, which I always thought that was one of the more difficult strikes.
It gets crazy in that if you actually go in the room.
Right, if you actually if you actually go through the doors, it's going to be difficult.
Chilling with Icebreaker in the back with the little peekaboo.
Maybe they literally are just like, you have to go in now.
Well, now that you don't have Icebreaker.
7 Shriekers instead of 1. 7 Shriekers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Atheon shows up and tries to rip you out of space.
On this list, he doesn't seem to mention the new strike, so I'm going to bring that up now. There is a new strike. I can't remember what it's called. Something Eye. Anybody?
The Wretched Eye.
The Wretched Eye. Thank you.
Wretched Eye.
This thing is cool because it's a little bit different than strikes we've seen in the past. It's going to have multiple paths that you'll be able to go down, and it'll kind of change every time you go, or maybe not every time, but
it has
so
the
smart.
possibility
of changing, and different paths are going to have different encounters that you'll have to deal with. So there will be a little variety just inside this one strike. And I believe they showed us the boss on this one. This was the ogre with the 2 sea mines for hands.
Yeah. It got like a big chunk of head missing.
Right. This is the go into a hive nest and try to sievify the hive nest.
Oh, is that the? I actually thought it was the Abomination
Hive,
Heist, but yeah, you're right. That probably is the new boss.
So it's like the Fallen experimenting on the hive.
Yeah.
Just like making. That's kind of cool.
Sorry,
cool. Hive, but it's
right?
cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah, the Game Informer article kind of compared it to Frankenstein's monster.
They did, yeah.
I'm very excited about.
I can get that vibe from that ogre. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I'm very excited about them exploring variant paths. Like, I think that's huge. Again, it's another thing that clearly was not possible on last gen. So the strikes before didn't have any of that kind of cool dungeon generating type of stuff. But I really, really hope it's a step towards that direction where these strikes could potentially in the future become somewhat procedural. So there is a whole set of modifiers that could happen and a whole set of pathways that could be that could occur. So there's like maybe 100 variations of it. In the future, in future strikes and all that, I'm sure this one is only going to have a couple variations here and there.
Yeah, I can imagine 3 or 4 different variations of it or something.
Yeah, that's about what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly. But I my hope is that it's in the future they're going to expand on that, so they really do feel like these dungeons that are generated every time.
I'd love to see this idea in raids too.
Yeah.
Where sometimes you go into a challenge mode for a raid and there's just an alternate path. Yeah, sometimes you have to actually split up your fire team down 3 separate paths.
Maybe like a specific encounter you knew was going to be different or something every week. If the entire raid was like different every week, that could,
that could be awesome and lead to much longer lifespan for the raid.
It could, and then you'd be like, and then some weeks you'd be like,
Brian, you got a point.
You'd be like, it's this version of it again. I don't feel like
Got it. The Siva technology is used to randomly generate a raid every time, because you know how
randomly generated raids. I love it.
they're gonna partner up.
The technology that's the golden age built from the Siva. Yeah,
they're gonna partner up with the guys that made No Man's Sky. And
why not?
Oh my God, a match made in heaven. That would be so great to take your ship from the Cosmodrome and just fly it up into space over to the moon. Oh man, that would be hype.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be sweet.
I don't see this mentioned in this list either, but strikes are getting a new loot system, where now when you complete strikes in either the Vanguard playlist or in the Nightfall, you'll have a chance to earn a treasure key. There's a specific name for this key. I think it's a skeleton key.
Skeleton key.
And these skeleton keys can be used to open up chests that will be at the end of every strike, not just in the playlist. They're
called a horde chest.
A horde chest, and these horde chests will have guaranteed strike-specific loot in them.
Yeah.
So if you
really cool.
if you're really focused on maybe getting, let's say the grass from the Omnigull, you can run the playlist for a little while, get a few of these cheat keys, then go beat Omnigull a couple of times, and you'll be guaranteed strike-specific loot out of that chest every time you beat it.
And you'll get the bond every time.
You'll get the bond every time.
Every single time.
One thing it does also do is it takes away that opportunity to farm Omnigull, like in that halfway point. So like the farming, it's a way for Bungie to limit the farming on these strikes as well.
True. Didn't think about that.
So you'll get guaranteed loot, assuming you have a skeleton key, but you won't be able to try to get that loot 8 times in 10 minutes.
That's true.
But let's be honest, that was an exploit.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Same with kill the boss, then immediately kill yourself to try and respawn the boss.
Exploits.
Using Dragon's Breath. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool system though, because you can like if you really want the stolen will, you can just use your treasure keys at the Archon priest only.
Yeah.
You know, and just save it.
I'm excited about that
playing.
system. Yeah.
It keeps people playing the strikes. Alternate paths, maybe that'll increase replayability just a little bit. For me, the biggest factor is I want to see strikes that have a lot of character, though. Because as a guy who's drawn to PvP, if the PvE activities aren't unique and creative and just rife with their own individual character, then I'm probably not going to go back to them that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think we all want more story and more just in the game. We want to know more about what we're fighting and why we're fighting and who are they. And I hope they seem to know that we all want that, so I'm hoping that they put strikes that are more like that in the story that shows us more.
Yeah.
We're getting
And you can tell a story without having dialogue and
oh,
all
absolutely.
those things too. I mean,
that's something that Destiny does pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also very excited they're continuing with the strike-specific loot system. They're adding more.
I love it. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. They're adding more, and they're putting in for the Sepix Perfected and Abomination Highest, and obviously the new strike and all that. So there's going to be new stuff associated with that. And the Skeleton Keys definitely gives a good pathway for us to get that if we're having bad RNG. If we're not Pope Bear, we can go ahead and secure an actual loot from it. So I'm excited about that. It's good.
I wonder if they're going to replace the gear that's already there for the strikes, or if they'll add to the loot pool. You know, for instance, I've got a ton of Treads Upon Stars, but I've never gotten an Imago Loop, so I'd hate to see the Imago Loop disappear.
I got my first one this week. Praise
Boss.
And it's so good too.
So, I don't really care about Treads Upon Stars. I've been getting Treads Upon Stars for a year now. Like, I'd at least like to see new loot added to those strikes that it was available on.
I wouldn't mind to see new ones. I don't want them to take it away, but I wouldn't mind having a new one. Like, maybe they start giving sniper rifles and Have all of them been primaries?
No, Stolen Will is a shotgun.
Stolen
Will is a shotgun.
And then there's Dark Blades. Yeah.
Yep. I didn't think about it.
There's the heavy. There's the machine gun as well.
Yeah, the Baron's Ambition.
Baron's Ambition.
So maybe they could just add on that,
Adding would be good.
Yeah, different ones.
I'm good with adding.
You were going to bring up the story.
Yeah, 5 more story missions. I would assume that story is going to continue after those missions too. The Game Informer article did mention that it's pretty brief. You're going to get through this pretty quick, the story missions, and then you'll unlock other activities. But yeah, I would assume that.
What do you think about 5 missions?
It seems a little low. Seems a little low. Like those missions, besides being your first playthrough and your first experience, also get added to the daily heroic missions.
True.
Missions, and I want that pool to be as big as it can be.
Yeah, you're right.
One thing they did say in the article is that the story missions are definitely not a big part of the game because it leads you then to all the other stuff that you can do. So there's way more endgame content in Rise of Iron than the story. So I think people are like, oh, it's really short, and apparently it is very short. 5 is not a lot.
No.
But we're also gaining access to a lot more content.
Yeah.
From going through the story,
the Archon
that's
Forge.
Way more important to me is the end game content. I don't play story. I don't play any story missions, like any at all.
Yeah, I just do the dailies if I need legendary marks.
Yeah, keep in mind, Taken King, like the campaign was fairly short for the most part.
Longer than 5 missions, though. I think
it wasn't 5 missions. No, but it was still fairly short for the most part for a $40 game. But then the Taken War thing opened up after that, a new in-game type thing, which lasted way longer. It wasn't still like a campaign type mission, but
and there was stuff like the quest for No Time to Explain, and there were these quests that while they weren't new story missions, they weren't new things. They were they added to it, go into the sword quest, go into a new version of Darkblade's. The Darkblade mission, that kind of thing. I expect to see again.
You get the Thorn quests and stuff after the story.
Yeah.
Well, you unlock the strike after the story. That's technically narrative right there. So it's not that they're gonna end the narrative after the 5 missions, and it's like, all right, endgame. It's like they're good. I think Bungie's moving more towards trying to tell story with endgame content as
which
well.
is great news, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Archon Forge is going to be one of those endgame activities. It's basically a horde mode somewhere in between the Court of Oryx and the current Challenge of Elders. Right.
Did you guys freak out when you saw Forge?
It's an unfortunate name for it because Forge does have connotations with Bungie games.
I got a tweet and somebody said Forge and I was like,
oh. Like, what do you mean?
Give me this article right now. You know?
Yeah, each round will take around 5 minutes, and the drops used to summon the various possible difficulties come from patrols. So I don't know if that was the Siva clusters we saw. I kind of think it isn't because they did mention these would specifically be in the Plague Lands. But you're going to go around collecting these relics to bring to the Forge, and then the rarer the relic, the higher the difficulty of the Forge mode, which then grants better loot, presumably.
Essentially rune keys.
Right.
We're familiar with that from Court of Oryx with the different reciprocal runes.
I hope that it's not like a charge type of thing where you got to wait like 7 days to do it.
Well, that was Agnarok, though, rune.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, which was more specific to that one one event where Court of Oryx, you know, you just, as long as you could keep on playing Court of Oryx, you could charge keys and all that. We had talked about this on the previous podcast. I was hoping that there was going to be a Court of Oryx kind of revival in the Plague Lands. So I'm happy they did that. My biggest hope is that it's not just artifacts. You know, like Court of Oryx.
There's going to be armor. Yeah, there's going to be armor. Yeah.
Did they say any weapons by any chance?
I don't think they did. I think they specifically mentioned armor, but I'm not sure about weapons.
Archon Forge armor should look pretty cool.
But if it's legendary, it could drop at high light levels, and it could be a good way of leveling up your character.
I imagine it'll be pretty similar to like Court of Oryx in terms of the loot, where it's really beneficial to run it, you know, early on. You know, the loot will probably still remain relevant due to the way like loot works now with how it drops.
The smart loot system.
Yeah. Sure.
There is going to be a PS exclusive map. This year's PlayStation exclusive map is Icarus, a solar collection site on Mercury. The arena is the raised structure at the center of a much larger crater-like array. Its circular shape inevitably funnels into furious conflagrations at the center.
So it's a PlayStation exclusive map, which means it's PlayStation exclusive map, which means it's probably gonna be like the smallest map that gets released, right? Because
that's true.
That's going with the theme of every single PlayStation map that's been released.
Essentially, you're going to be able to post up with sniper rifles and watch all the spawn points in the new PlayStation exclusive. I'm joking 100% here.
They don't mention in this article, I don't think, the other 3 maps, but there are 3 other maps. And if you give me a second, I'll bring up a quick description of them.
Yeah, I was gonna make a video on like the description of the maps, but I'm like, I would much prefer to just have the maps and talk about them.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
You can only you can describe a map all you want to, but come on, bro.
You can't show how it plays.
Yeah, that's
kind of true. You don't know anything about it.
Are there doors that close and open?
Hopefully not.
In hallways and
Please,
choke points?
I hope there's not doors that open and close.
Yeah.
They did mention some new exotics. There will be Warlock exotic boots. A new sidearm reminiscent of the classic RoboCop gun, which kind of has me excited. A Siva-themed pulse rifle that we talked about earlier that blossoms out a cloud of seeking energy. So I'm looking forward to getting some new exotics. That's for damn sure. It's been a while.
They're adding a good amount of new exotics.
I certainly hope so.
It's going to be a good amount. There's just a lot of armor, a lot of weapons that is being added in Rise of Iron. I am excited.
I'm pretty sure every single Warlock main that just heard Warlocks are getting boots is exotic boots. It's like,
I just wanted the description to be Grant's Hunter jumps.
You know, that would probably get me to play a Warlock.
Right?
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would.
The lore would be that they realized the air in their ways, and glide is just garbage, and that the hunters had the true way.
Right?
There'd be so many fewer Nova suicides because you're like casually drifting as you're trying to throw it.
Yep.
Warlocks gave the hunters blink. Warlocks gave the hunters blink. The hunters owe the warlocks something.
No, hunters stole blink. We stole it.
Okay.
Because warlocks are so they got their heads in their books, and we just like tiptoed behind them and pickpocketed the secrets.
Yeah. So that's it. I think that's the list.
It's a pretty good summary, I think.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good summary.
Was released.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's pretty much the list there.
Rise Iron's got a lot of stuff coming.
There's a lot of stuff, and a lot of it is new weapons and new armor, which I'm most excited, and new customization things, which I'm excited about because that's what keeps me playing. Because I want to get that exotic, I want to get the shader, I want to get the ornament.
And it's customization not only to the way you look, but how you actually play the game, which is really interesting. Like around the table, like what are you guys most excited about? Like
I'm most excited about the fact that it sounds like with Rise of Iron, you're going to get what the DLCs have sort of subsequently started to do more and more, and that's just to really upset what is the standard right now. And I think that's really what Destiny needs is just a nice, just chuck a big rock into the water and make a big splash and just change up how everything plays out right now. Because honestly, there's a lot of, at least for me, as a guy that plays Crucible, like 95% of the time that I'm playing, it gets really repetitive with not just the environments, but also the weapons you're seeing, the loadouts you're seeing, the strategies you're seeing. It's after a while, everyone starts using the same things, and just look at the breakdowns of what weapons got all the kills in Trials last weekend, and you'll see it's the exact same thing every match. Seeing something new is like seeing a unicorn. So. I just love to see it all get messed up, and we get to have to go through that process of finding out again before we settle into something.
Artifacts. I'm gonna say artifacts because I think kind of going off what TV was saying there, those new artifacts are gonna add a lot of variance to the game. There's gonna be a lot of one player is going to use one over another player. I don't think there's going to be a single best one of those.
Yeah, because it depends on what your playstyle is, right? If you always like having that radar, then you're going to choose that over always having your sprint available.
Or if you're reacting to how somebody else is playing.
Yep. Exactly.
Guys, Gingerton in the chat just hooked me up with another list of stuff that was confirmed on the Game Informer podcast. And there is some new stuff in here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, snap.
Tyra Banks, the new,
my girl,
new Bellwinter Peak.
Oh wow!
Vendor has a weekly bounty. Is going to have weekly bounties to complete. Completing all of them in a given week grants you a token to spend on one of 3 new artifacts she has each week. So you're going to complete all her bounties to get that artifact. Artifacts rotate each week, and it is assumed that you can stack tokens to use on a different week. So you can save 1 and use 2 next week. Total of 8 new artifacts that she will sell. Game Informer described these bounties as not too grindy and shouldn't take that long to complete each week.
Okay.
The farther you travel into the Plague Lands, the more industrial and Siva infested it gets.
Cool.
There are chests scattered around the Plague Lands that are mimic chests. Opening one of these will not grant you the regular glimmer, mats, etc., but something bad will happen, whatever that means. Don't know if there's a way to distinguish between a normal chest and a fake chest.
Dark Souls the chain pointing at you or loops?
There will be a new set of calcified fragments to collect in the Plague Lands called Dormant Siva clusters. Less than 50 to collect. Don't know the exact number.
Interesting.
Cool.
There will be new dead ghosts as well.
That's
To make up for the lack of Cade 6 humor dialogue, the ghost has been given more of a personality. Also, Lord Saladin has lots of dialogue.
Interesting.
Nice.
5 main story missions, but there are quests that stem out after you complete the campaign, similar to the Taken King, as there are only 8 main story missions in the Taken King.
Okay.
Yep.
There's a nostalgic scene or mission where you travel through the transformed location of the Cosmodrome with your ghost. That's cool.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Not every location from the Cosmodrome has been reskinned and accessible during the new Plaguelands patrol. So far, we know we can access the Wall, the Divide, Rocket Yard, Refinery, the Blast, and Devil's Lair. Don't know if you can travel to the other old locations.
Okay. It makes sense that they would cut those off, you know?
Wrath of the Machine, which we haven't talked about at all yet, we definitely should, can be summed up as being a collision of a raid, smashing into other shit, as they put it. Not really sure what that means. In addition, a good portion of the raid takes place outdoors, as you can actually see raid locations during patrol and during missions.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really cool.
I like that.
I wonder if you'll be able to actually see people doing the raid. At least the beginning of it, like Vault of Glass, where you could actually
potentially
run across people.
That was always cool to me.
I always thought that was amazing. Like people opening up the door to Vault and helping them out. I want that again. I hope they bring that back.
Yeah.
Does the word collision worry you guys at all? Okay, because remember Crota's End, they were like, we want an action, hero movie.
That's what I'm hoping for, man. Is something more along those lines. Taken King got really boring to me because it was so much just standing in one place shooting at a guy. Where to me, collision means there's gonna be shit coming from all sides. It's gonna be more like the Vault of Glass, where I'm constantly like, I gotta be aware, I gotta be on my feet, moving around, doing things. Like that's what I'm hoping it's gonna be more like.
I'm worried that collision means it's short, because it's like frantic, action packed, and then it's done.
They say there's several bosses.
Yeah.
One of the things about Crota's End is there was basically 2 bosses.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. All right.
I actually loved Crota's End.
It's a great strike.
More than the
awesome strike.
Strike. I actually like it more than Oryx. That's just me.
Yeah.
I do at this point. I didn't at first. Oryx was really cool at first, but once I got to understand Oryx to me now feels like I just stand in one spot and wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just thought that the feeling of anticipation and anxiety that they gave you the first few times you went through the Crota's End raid was so good. Mm-hmm. Between the maze and the giant opening light door in front of you that you have to run. I loved it.
Yeah.
Video coming out soon interviewing the raid team about their process designing a raid. No spoilers in the video, so don't watch it looking for information on the new raid.
Good. Okay. I'd be really disappointed if they spoiled some of the raid.
Oh, right. They're not gonna like.
Oh,
no.
Hold up, guys.
I'm with you. I know exactly where you're going, Tafty. Go ahead.
They showed the raid gear.
They did show the raid gear.
What the hell?
That's not where I thought you were going.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
They did show the raid gear, though.
They straight up showed the raid gear. I was like, what?
I was surprised they did that.
The Warlock raid gear looks like it came straight out of Hot Topic, too.
Okay.
That's disappointing because it does take away some of the mystique. Yeah. Hopefully the hard mode though is going to be different because, like theoretically, maybe the hard mode will only be the only hard mode will have ornaments available to it, so it could be different.
I was just so surprised that they were like, and here's the raid gear that you get to.
And they showed all the trials gear.
Yeah, they showed
those videos though. One in particular that Game Informer put out had a ton of Plaguelands gameplay in it and a ton of Kostov gaplay in it. That I was kind of like, wow, I almost wish I hadn't seen this.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen it yet, so I specifically don't want to see any.
Yeah, I would caution you on seeing it. Yeah.
I didn't show quite a bit.
I didn't want to even put pictures of the stuff they were showing in videos because it was spoiler heavy, I thought.
Yeah, I mean they even show the.
I don't want to see the Plaguelands. I don't. I want to experience that for myself.
Also, another video is coming out very soon, interviewing the story team behind Rise of Iron.
Okay.
Archon's
no
Forge.
spoilers though. I don't want story spoilers.
No, absolutely. The new PvE arena can be described as a mix between Court of Oryx and Prison of Elders. I think we're getting into stuff we've already talked about, actually.
Yeah.
Different difficulty,
this is pretty much stuff what we've talked about. A lot of new armor sets, exclusive armor sets from the raid. Obviously, Iron Banner, Iron Lord, Archon's Forge, trial sets. I wonder if we're going to get sets with set bonuses.
Be cool. I don't think it's happening, but
I don't think it's happening now.
Yeah, I think it needs to be reworked completely if they're going to start doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like with the exotics,
All right, yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything else we've talked about. But still,
Sweet.
Thank you very much for pointing that out to us. I really do appreciate it. That was Jinjatome in the chat.
Wait, was there information on the ornament stuff?
There was ornaments can change geometry, makes armor look different. Like, so it sounds like transmog also works with exotics. And one of the examples was that you could make like the Monte Carlo black.
Okay.
So,
okay, I like that.
Yeah, cool.
Black Monte Carlo, that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
All right.
Cool.
Do we want to head on over to the good old Twitter question?
Do you want to? Well, let's talk about the raid just a little bit. Do you want to talk about the raid just a little bit?
There's a lot of running.
Is there much to talk about?
I mean,
yeah, I don't feel like there's.
No,
much.
I guess
they gave us the name.
The Wrath of the Machine. I mean, we saw more pictures of that big steamroller type guy. We did find out that there are multiple bosses. They said several bosses, which is a good sign. It does a lot of it takes place outside. At least 3, yeah.
Which I like.
How many does King's Fall have? 3,
bosses?
4?
4 if you include the sisters.
It's the sisters.
Yeah.
Or daughters. Or
I mean, it's you have to. I think it's better to call them encounters.
They kind of talk that it is. Then it would be more than that. There's more encounters than that. There's probably 6 encounters total.
Yeah, because you have
the initial encounter to open the gate. The encounter
Yeah.
to get the warp priests. Yeah, the totems. Then the warp priests.
Even that you have the jumping puzzle. It's an encounter.
Yeah,
there is some sort of puzzle you have to figure out.
Probably
Then
like
you
8.
have the totems. Then you have warp priests. Then you have.
The maze.
Not gonna. Well, is the maze really like you have to go through it?
It is if you try and get a fire team to do the secret chest.
Okay, we'll count it.
It's a fucking nightmare encounter.
Dick Wall, sisters, and then Auric. So in total, there's 9 encounters in King's Fall.
With 4 bosses.
I'm excited for the raid just with that name, Wrath of the Machine.
Yeah, they do mention that there's gonna be more of a focus on mobility, which excites me because that's my biggest problem with King's Fall is that there's so much just standing around. And my default is to always level up a Titan first because defenders. Everybody loves having a defender around.
Yeah.
But if the focus is on mobility, you're gonna be dropping that bubble and then fucking jetting out of there. How useful is that bubble gonna be?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I always look forward to doing a new raid.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're gonna have to start planning the Planet Destiny.
Do you know what I look
too.
forward to every week, Briar? You know what I look forward to?
Talking about blue microphones?
Talking about blue microphones.
Yeah.
These wild mics and headphones that were. Oh wait, shit.
Woo.
You screwed up?
No, I haven't had my headphones on this entire time.
Wow.
Completely forgot about it this week.
Sponsor
really
fail.
Good headphones.
Yeah, they are really good
They are really good
headphones that
headphones.
I am now putting on right now. So we are using. They're just some of the iconic gear that Blue creates because Blue's award-winning products are the driving force behind professional musicians, internet creators, and countless elite gaming teams and Twitch streamers. Their Yeti USB mic is the internet's most popular microphone, and their MoFi and Lola headphones deliver insane sound and a very personalized fit. Blue offers everything you need to completely immerse yourself in the ultimate gameplay experience. Learn more about Blue at bluemic.com. Did I do it?
All right, so off the bat, there you go. Everybody's got. If you signed up for a YouTube channel, they send you one of these.
Yeah.
Our first question actually has to do with microphones.
Really?
From Majestic Gaming, audio tips from the PD team. I have a Blue Yeti. At times, I feel like I'm not getting the best quality. So I thought we could talk a little bit about our sponsor, about using the microphone correctly. What do you guys think?
Okay, sure. So, first off, there's a little manual that it probably came with.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's on a thing right here, so I can't move.
Are you literally gonna tell this guy to RTM? Read the fucking manual?
Yeah, read the fucking manual.
Nice.
So step 1, read the fucking manual. Step 2, if you don't read the fucking manual.
Check out these knobs on the back. Set the gain to as low as you can. And also make sure that you have the audio pattern set to just the front, and then try and get your mouth as close to the microphone as you can. And then there's also a headphone port on the bottom. that you can actually monitor the audio while you're talking. So if you're moving around, you're going to find that the audio is bad. Or if you're drifted away from the microphone, you're going to find that it gets echoey. So try and stay as close to the microphone as you can with your voice. Lower the gain as much as you can and to still get good sound, and monitor the audio as you're speaking, because you'll actually catch yourself moving away from the microphone and stuff like that while you're using it.
Okay. Those are some good tips.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to use a different microphone to whatever. Speak into the microphone like this with the blue mic, how it has like a dome on the top. Don't speak into it like that. That's
Hold it
bad.
up like this. Yeah. You're not supposed to have it like this.
Speak straight into it. Like that.
Yep.
Speak sideways into the mic.
Yeah. I'm gonna add to that. I actually don't prescribe to the get as close to the mic technique because it's a condenser mic. Mm-hmm. Condensers pick up a lot of information, and they are susceptible to proximity. So in general, if you're going to use a condenser mic, which those Blue Yetis are, you typically want about that much distance to get the proper sound. And also with the gain, ideally, unity gain is what you want. Unity gain typically is in the middle, and then you adjust it based off that. So if you have a really loud voice, you're going to have to dip it down. If you have a really soft voice, you have to dip it up for the gain. Unity gain gives you the cleanest sound. Okay. The other problem that condenser mics have is that it picks up a lot of room noise. So if you have wood floors, if you don't have a lot of furniture in your office, all those things will create a lot of echo, and you have to fix those things either with putting down carpets or foam or anything like that, or potentially switching to a dynamic microphone. Dynamics have more of a focus.
Patrick uses.
Yep. Yeah, Patrick uses a dynamic, exactly. So, yeah, those are the things I'd like to add to that. But nice. Generally, you should be able to... Oh, actually, Pat's tip also, if you try to speak into the top of it, it is going to sound bad. Because, again, the actual diaphragm is in front of you. Just like, hold it up, Briar. Like you were talking. Yeah, like that. You need to speak into it exactly like that, just like Pat said, because the actual diaphragm is aligned with you like that.
A lot of people kind of point it at their mouth like that.
They do, yeah.
And the other thing, too, those buttons on the back that change the cardioid pattern and also the gain, those do need to be facing away from you. Because there is a front and a back. Unless you go Omni, and if you go Omni mode, I wouldn't recommend it because it's going to pick up the entire
all the
room.
reflections from around the room.
Yep, which is not what you want. You definitely want to go with pure cardioid. That's going to give you the direct frontal
Also, get a pop filter. Pop filters make a tremendous difference, and they can help you set the correct distance from your mouth to the microphone because you move that pop filter away from the microphone, it kind of sets the distance for you.
Yep. So follow those tips. If you still get really bad sound, then there might be something up with the mic.
Okay, so do we have any questions that TV could expand on as well? Because he's looking bored as fuck.
All right, Carrie Canella.
It's a lot of PvE stuff.
In the next Festival of the Lost, what do you want to become a mask? I want a ghost shell mask. Any mask requests?
I want to be Tyra Banks. That definitely needs to be a thing.
Tyra Banks mask would be pretty like.
I want a ghost mask. I just want to have this.
That's what he suggested, a ghost shell mask. I would like a beard mask where I can have a beard.
Yes!
There you go.
The beard mask.
Just like a beard with paper hangers that go over my ears.
Yeah, perfect.
Briar, you just spoke to my heart, man. Directly.
Outside the helmet beard.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that'd be perfect. Yeah. It would look so majestic on the Twilight. What's that one with the mohawk?
Right.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's called, but
I don't know. I can't remember either. Helm of Saint 14. At Hey Fitzy, do you think we will finally see Charlemagne's Vault in Rise of Iron with the Thorn quest? And Charlemagne's Vault is on Mars, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thorn is tied to...
Thorn in the original spoilers of the game and the original lore that was released. Thorn was related to Charlemagne was the Warmind of Mars, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Thorn quest had you going into Charlemagne's vault to do something there. So yeah, maybe
potentially.
there's going to be a Thorn quest, so we got to go somewhere. There's going to be a
Thorn quest, but like the lore for Thorn is fairly well established now. Like, so I imagine it's not going to be like we may not have to. I don't know.
We'll see. At Rich GTR, Thorn confirmed. So what does this mean for balance with another tick in PvP?
I think it'll be fine personally.
I think it's going to be all right. I think that the people who are going to have maybe the biggest issue with it are going to be the folks who maybe hang out in the more competitive scene or in the more competitive lobbies. And even then, I think it's more an annoyance. I think there's a big distinction the community has an issue with, and that's the distinction between what's annoying and what's imbalanced. Yeah. Because there's a lot of things in PvP that are super annoying to die by, but they're not necessarily OP or imbalanced. And I think that the Thorn, for the most part, I think that right now it's a decently balanced gun. Yeah, the tick is annoying. It stinks that it takes your recovery out of the picture for a while on a primary weapon. Yeah, I understand that, but I don't know that I would go so far as to say that it's OP as much as it is annoying.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think if anything, we have just PTSD from year one of the 2-10 Thorn.
Yeah, we're just like, no Thorn, no.
Yeah.
Well, now we have an artifact to help with it a little bit.
Exactly.
See what that does.
Yep.
Yeah. At Novak45XB1, are you expecting dedicated servers to be announced at Gamescom?
No.
No. I wish.
I'm not even hoping for it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a shot in hell.
No,
it'd be a complete rework.
I don't think dedicated servers are like gonna be a thing until Destiny 2, just because
I don't even know if that'll happen.
I don't even know what that is. I know that it would take
say that.
It would take a serious rework of like the actual the way the game connects to the network. I'm not gonna say it, Tefty.
Say it.
Not gonna say it. Not
gonna. I've played Battlefield, and I do not believe that dedicated servers is a solution.
What kind of what did you get on a bad server? I mean, you have to select a server where you have a good ping.
I know. That doesn't mean that I'm going to have good connections with every player on that.
Well, it's your connection to the server that counts. You know?
Theoretically, like but if another player has a bad connection to that server, it's still going to be a bad connection between me and him.
Well, they're going to be sitting in one spot, not moving, and then you easily kill them.
And if I want to play with somebody across the world, which server are we going to play on? If I want to play with Story Machine and Houndish, who both are living in Europe, how's my experience going to be?
Well, with PvE, let's say you want to do PvE. I think it's going to be different. Like, I think it's not going to matter as much. When it comes to PvP, but
what if we want to play Trials?
Right now? Well, we have a choice right now. We either take the PvP further into a competitive experience and make it potentially an esport, because a lot of talk is being happened with Activision about potentially making it an esport, or we go down the same path that we're going right now and just experience these connections that we still have.
JB Mega 2234, do you think Archon Forge will have separate difficulties? Maybe the harder it is, the better the rewards.
They already kind of said that there would be based on which runes, whatever they're called, which ones you have.
Right.
You think of it like Court of Orcs, with reciprocal runes, stolen runes, and antiquated.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how it's going to move forward. At Daniel Casket, in Rise of Iron, we get the record book that tracks our progress. That's how we get our Lord armor. Is that too easy?
We haven't seen the book yet.
So. We have no idea. Maybe.
We have no idea, man.
Maybe for me it is. Maybe for you it's wicked hard. I don't know. That's what I think probably is going to happen, though.
You think it's going to be wicked hard?
No, I don't know.
That creeper face, though, that was spot on.
Optimal Storm asks, what is your favorite artifact revealed so far?
Didn't we already answer that in the beginning?
Yeah, we already talked about it.
We went through artifacts a lot.
Look, I picked the Twitter questions before we do the podcast. I don't know if you guys are aware of
that. Yes.
Hutch asks, your thoughts on the new game mode? And would you prefer an objective game mode with an actual objective? This isn't an actual objective. Yeah. You have to collect the
It is an objective
shields.
game mode. It is.
Yeah.
PvP is always going to center around killing things. I mean, you can't get around that. There is definitely an objective to it. It's an objective type game. I think I'm excited about it. Yeah, I think it's a little uninventive.
Basically a blatant
rip-off. I haven't seen a
Destiny
spin on it, but that being said, it does. I mean, I always loved Kill Confirm.
Yeah, so it was one of my favorites from Call of Duty too.
It's a super fun game mode if it plays the same as Kill Confirmed, so I'm looking forward to
it. Nathan Torp, how many new armor sets do you think Rise of Iron will have?
Well, we have confirmed Iron Lords, Iron Banner, Trials of Osiris, Raid, Archon, Forge.
Probably we'll get 2 sets from the Raid, right? Hard normal, hard and soft.
And then all the
and
then all the tower sets. I imagine there's going to be
tower sets.
And all the tower sets, Crucible.
So that's 5 more.
Maybe
that's
factions.
a lot, actually.
So that's 12. 11 or 12 that I just counted.
Say 16 new armor sets.
Plus whatever comes out of those new packages.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There might be some
That's
like.
true. And then all the different ornament settings, they're gonna change it like a lot. There's a lot of stuff. Lots. Of
Plus, Tefty's gonna open up his Sterling Treasures and get the taking gear.
Exactly. 10 years, man.
Very excited about that.
10 years.
We haven't heard any information about new Sublime sets, PlayStation exclusive.
No, that's a good point. We've heard very little information about what PlayStation will be getting.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have that.
I imagine we'll hear stuff at Gamescom about it, like.
Probably.
Yeah. Really looking forward to that. JK.
No one will. You're right. I can't wait. No one Wolf. How do you think the Memory of Perun artifact will affect Trials of Osiris? Quick, nobody look. Which one is the Memory of Perun?
Is that the?
Is that the super building?
I don't know. I'm already looking at it.
I didn't just
Super
loudly.
ability one is. To be able to see.
All enemy guardians will.
Yeah.
With full super are highlighted.
Okay,
yeah, Tefty nailed it.
I didn't just loudly type it into my computer to figure out what it was. No. Yeah, it's the one that highlights things.
Yeah.
We talked about that quite a bit.
I think it's. Yeah, we did.
We mentioned
discussed
that,
it in Trials too.
Specifically Trials,
Yeah.
Matt Grundy 89. What artifact are each of you most excited to use? Quick answer. Just which one?
Perun.
No sprint cooldown. I think
Same.
that's Yolder.
It's radar, the radar thing.
I'm going to make the enemy my bitch to do my bidding. That is the most awesome perk I've ever heard of. I can't wait to use it.
Can you imagine if that perk actually made it that if you hit someone in PvP,
That'd be
it would then
hilarious.
switch it so it looks like their team is a popping
That would
with
be
the
awesome.
red outline in there.
That would be phenomenal.
That would be
It's
hilarious.
the greatest troll thing ever.
He's so broken.
Or what if you hit them, it just like automatically triggered their super? Like no matter what they're doing, like their trigger just goes off.
I can't control this.
Triggerblade X. What subclasses do you think you will need for Wrath of the Machine?
Any of them?
I feel like all subclasses are in a pretty decent place.
Yeah, except for Warlocks.
With there being a lot of mobility, maybe Blade Dancers will be pretty nice with their invisibility.
That's nice. I always like having a defender around, and I always like having Night Stalkers around in raids.
Stalker.
Yeah.
Like those are the ones.
Night Stalkers are always a good bet. Like the thing you have to realize though is they don't design the encounters to specifically have or specifically require certain subclasses.
No,
I mean,
but certain subclasses are always nice to have.
Oh yeah, they're all like a defender and Night Stalker are always going to be welcome in any group.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you
often
have
multiples
of,
of each.
that.
The easiest I could do a hard mode Kingsfall raid right now would be 3 Night Stalkers and 3 defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, right now, if you go in with a group that hasn't worked together, you need at least one, ideally 2 Titans at the end on Orcs.
Yeah, it does help. It really does help.
2
Definitely.
defenders.
Yeah.
Or 6 Sunsinger Warlocks that could just keep self-resting themselves if they fuck up.
That helps.
At J Dummy, what role do you think Aphrodite will play in your hopes for Archon's Forge?
Oh, you know what we didn't talk about is the rumor about Aphrodite being the stranger. Do you think there's any viability to that?
No, because Aphrodite was a guardian, and then
She said she was not forged in light.
Yeah, she said she wasn't forged in light.
Boom.
What if she is forged in Siva?
Debunked.
That would be amazing.
No, I don't think there's much legs for that rumor to stand on.
Yeah, that one seems weak to me too. Archon's Forge. Hopes for Archon's Forge. Anybody?
The armor looks good. That's my hopes. It's like they said. It's like a 5-minute activity, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just want the armor to look good.
I hope that there's going to be a lot of people hanging around, so I'll be able to meet new people, like I did with the Oryx one. What was it called again?
Court of
Oryx. Thank you. That was a really cool time because you could only bring 3 people on patrol into there, but you wanted to get 6 people on when we were at low light level. So what you'd do is send a party invite to other people that were around, and then all of a sudden you'd have a 6-man party.
Right.
And I met a lot of people that way. It was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yep.
That was really fun.
For sure.
At Christ298 is the state of the sniper video you mentioned. In the state of the sniper video, you mentioned that being close enough will trigger a kill. Is this why snipers are OP?
I believe you misunderstood me. I said that's how aim assist works, or that's a portion of aim assist that works called bullet pull, where it will register a hit if it's like close enough. And then I specifically stated snipers don't have that. So I don't know if maybe I fucked up and maybe I didn't make that clear enough.
I'm going to let that one go. At Notice Me Briar, are you guys also disappointed that they decided to show us the raid gear before the DLC even came out?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm definitely disappointed.
I'm even disappointed that they showed the Trials gear.
It doesn't faze me personally.
Yeah,
story spoilers bother me, but
gear doesn't.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. Like
weapons, I think would be a little different for me, but I don't know. I'm weird.
I like going into the tower and seeing, oh shit, look at that guy. What's he wearing?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I came from World of Warcraft where we would data mine everything like a month before it even came out, so we knew what all the armor would always look like. I don't know. It never seemed like that big of a deal to me.
At Roar
if
Link,
anything, it makes me like look forward to it more. So.
I can see that.
How do you think the balance of sniping versus warrior playstyle will change with Supremacy mode and artifacts?
Well, I think using a shotgun will definitely be good because you're right there in the action. You can get the kill, pick up the tag straight away. It's another reason I think blade dancers will be pretty good in that game type because they can pop their super and just slash everybody, pick up all the tags. Snipers are still going to be useful. You can just camp tags and kill people as they try and
It's something people do.
Baby buffalo. Buffalo.
Yeah, baby buffalo.
Also, having a sniper rifle on does not necessarily mean that you aren't a close range threat either.
That's certainly true.
Yeah.
At Joe Brennan, cutscenes, dialogue from different characters. We're only getting 5 story missions, so I think it's unlikely.
They mentioned that we're getting cutscenes.
Yeah.
So maybe there's going to be 5 cutscenes to go with each of those 5 missions.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'd actually prefer that. I'd prefer 5 shorter missions with expanded cutscenes than longer missions with only like 1 or 2 cutscenes, because you play the missions once,
What do you guys think about skippable cutscenes in the raid?
Raid cutscenes. Wow.
Oh, like cutscenes in the raid. Yeah, no, I don't know why you said skippable cutscenes in the raid.
Because you do the raid multiple times, you're gonna get pretty damn sick.
Oh yeah, but like all cutscenes are skippable anyway. It's just kind of a given, whatever.
I just want to make sure this
for it. Yeah.
I think cutscenes could be a really cool way to introduce an encounter in a raid. I'm a fan of any of these tools that you can use to increase storytelling and to create suspense and anticipation going into certain encounters.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
At the Spawny13, what non-Destiny related podcasts do each of you like to listen to? I've already read the question, so I have my answer prepared, and I'll start off with the Cracked podcast. The old Cracked magazine license. You guys remember Cracked magazine? Mm-hmm. A bunch of guys bought that. They have the Cracked website, and they also do a podcast, which is amazing. They have a really good podcast. Nice. And it's really become my favorite.
I don't think I listened to any podcasts.
I don't know.
I watch like a lot of non-Destiny streams and non-Destiny YouTube videos, but not podcasts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same for me. Every now and then I'll check out Total Biscuit's podcast. He does, you know, like he has guests on, does like a general gaming news, but it's not too often. I typically don't have time to like just watch it or listen to a podcast. Yeah. Usually I'm doing something.
I also listen to Giant Bomb. I really like the Giant Bomb podcast.
I occasionally will listen to the Rooster Teeth podcast. I'll go for stuff I just like to let it build up so I can binge it for a while. So I'll come back to a podcast that I like after a couple months, listen to it a bunch. But aside from Rooster Teeth, I don't really tune into any other podcasts.
At Jake Rocheteau, will engrams decode at a higher light if saved for Rise of Iron? So I think he's talking about exotic engrams specifically. What do you guys think? Is this a legit strategy?
I highly doubt that they're going to allow that.
Too.
And yet, I would still save them.
Yeah, I mean, still save them because
still save them,
you're going to rank up your Cryptarch for those. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Yep, still save
They probably will drop, year 2 light level gear, even if you decrypt them in year 3. But if you can rank your Cryptarch up very quickly by decrypting a bunch of these things, you can then get year 3 gear from the Cryptarch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
At Dallas Fan 196, what's your worst fear for the Rise of Iron? Thorn.
Electrostatic Mind, Stormcallers sitting at the back of the map in Trials and getting their super on like round 2 at the latest.
A team playing really passively and trying to get their supers up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds frustrating.
I don't want
I fear the an absolute armada of shoulder charging Titans coming with
universal
remotes because the sprint cooldown thing will be gone. So it's just like Striker Titans they got nothing to stop them now.
They're gonna become the most dominant class.
It doesn't really affect me that much when I'm in the Crucible using a Striker Titan. Does it affect you guys a lot? Like usually it's the second time I try and or the third time I try and sprint. Like I can sprint, stop, sprint again, but it's that third time that I try and sprint that I get caught by it.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, I guess it's just not there anymore. So now you can always sprint exactly when you need to. You're not going to occasionally get caught out by it.
I don't imagine it's going to make that big a difference.
I
think Striker Titans.
I think it's going to be huge.
I feel like it's going to be good.
I really do.
I don't fear the shoulder charges as much as I fear
just the Juggernaut.
More Jug.
Yeah.
More Jug.
Yeah.
I changed my answer to
everyone
Jug.
can like slide shotgun run. Slide shotgun run.
Yeah.
Like
that
you can
would,
constantly keep it up.
Yeah, you're right on that.
Yeah.
My biggest fear, I don't really fear the gameplay or anything like that because I think, the meta finds itself and I'm down to play the game regardless. It's fun. Mm-hmm. I'm worried that Rise of Iron is going to be an entire year long.
Yeah, I'm really scared of that too, Tefty. Like they had that part of the article what's to come, and when all they mentioned was Sparrow Racing League and the Halloween thing, I was like, oh man, I was hoping that another big DLC in January or spring or something.
Right.
But it was just blank.
I mean,
I was like,
Yeah, 6 months is great, but a whole year, like with the Taken King was massive. It had tons of content.
Mm-hmm.
And after that 9-month mark, it was like, we've exhausted everything, even with updates.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Rise of Iron could keep me going for quite a while just because I am one of those people that I want to get all the capes and I want to get all of the ornaments and I want to get all the shaders and I want to try out so many different things. But like you said, I don't think it would keep me going for an entire year.
Especially since it's smaller than the Taken King.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we either have to
updates might keep it going, but yeah.
The live events did not do the job.
The live events, no. The live events don't do it for me.
They're talking about a Sparrow Racing League that's more involved. maybe a second rev on all the live events could add more life to them, each of them. But again, they're only every other month, and they're really small events. Like, I don't know.
We didn't talk about this, about SRL coming back literally a year later.
Yeah.
Do you think that's funny? I think it's funny, because we joked about, oh, what if it comes back in a whole another year? Huh, wow, that would be crazy. And it is.
Yeah.
They confirmed. It's like, is it going to be yearly? And is it strange that they're holding that every 12 months?
It seems strange to me. Mm-hmm. If they're going to add more maps to it, they said there's going to be more of a PvE component to it as well.
That's true. It might be more expanded. Yeah.
But once a year for that event seems kind of odd.
Yeah.
See, it works in games like WoW because there's the equivalent of live events like once, maybe twice a month that can last anywhere from a day, a week, to a whole month. When it's like 2 events at the end of the year, one lasting like a week, one lasting 2 or 3 weeks, it's like, come on. It's difficult to look forward to.
Festival of Lost, it's not a big deal because you're still really going to be into Rise of Iron, right? I assume there's going to be, time-gated drops like there were for, we were still like waking up to like brand new news in October.
Yep.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I got to spend the next 6 hours looking for a basketball court in this raid. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. Yes. Somebody did. So I don't know. It's really it's past that point. It's in January, February, March, April, May that you really start saying, what's the next thing?
Exactly.
In December, I remember people were like, what is going on here? What's the next thing? And then that's why people were so pissed about the Sparrow Racing League. It wasn't the event itself. It's that everybody went to the PlayStation event thinking that we were going to see the next DLC.
Mm-hmm.
What about if they do bring in custom games?
That helps tremendously.
How much do you think that would lengthen?
It's a huge help, but it only helps half the population, or it only helps the people that like PvP. There's a huge component of this game that really likes to raid, really likes to play PvE, and it does nothing for those people.
Yeah, like
Do you not think they could enjoy it? Like going in there with their PvE buddies and setting like random rules, or like all using swords.
Maybe a little bit, but some people just don't dig on PvP. They don't get down with that. They want to play. One of the coolest aspects of this game is that you can get in there and play a huge cooperative thing with 5 of your friends, and that's not something that's in other shooters. It's one of the major draws. And when it takes a year for the next piece of content to come out that's like that, that's a major drawback for this game.
Yeah.
The raid is one of the biggest drawing points to the initial buyers of this game. The Vaulted Glass was huge.
Yeah. Also, there's just so many games coming out also that are focused on PvP. Like Battlefield. I don't know. This game's PvP is great, and it has a certain flavor to it, but there's a lot of things that can piss off a lot of people, because there's a portion of the population that are like us that enjoy digging the information up and finding out what the meta is and searching for it and getting it and doing the builds properly to do good PvP. And then there's a whole section of the population that's just like, what did I get killed by? Why is he using the universal remote? I think I'm gonna go play Overwatch
or Titanfall 2 or Battlefield.
Titanfall 2.
Battlefield,
exactly.
There's the new Call of Duty. There's a ton of PvP games coming out this fall that are gonna be serious competition for Destiny.
Yeah.
Different strokes, different folks.
Totally.
I think it's really tough to tick all the boxes and make you're not going to make a PvP experience that's appealing to every single type of gamer out there. It's just not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I think that Destiny, it doesn't really favor that casual level of a PvP player all that much. I know, speaking for my wife, there have been nights where we get on and she's like, I'll play some Destiny with you because, it's my world and it's what I do, and she wants to do it with me. And she's lucky to get 2 or 3 kills in a full match. Part of that is the lobbies we get into, and the other part of it is that she's an extremely casual player. She has no idea what she's got equipped and why it might be better or worse than someone else's gear. But But yeah, different strokes, different folks. This isn't her PvP game. We've got other games that we play together and enjoy the crap out of. So
one of the reasons I love this game so much, and I think it's one of the reasons I enjoy your channel so much, True Vanguard, is because of the variety in weaponry and always looking for, new stuff to use. And I know that's something that you do frequently on your channel. It's one of the reasons I really enjoy it. Is like you got the Imago Loop and you immediately brought it into the Crucible and started having fun with it. And that's one of the coolest things about Destiny. And it's something that no other game that I've ever played offers. And it's a really cool feature.
That's probably the best thing about Destiny to me is the amount of creative license it gives the gamer to invent their own technique, their own approach, their own builds, their own layouts, their own style. I love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I lost my place. At Kyle Thompson 43, the reinvented artifacts caught me by surprise. Do you think they're a good sign of future creativity? A real good sign.
I'm excited about them. Yeah, I'm excited.
Came out of the blue, too.
I did not see that. Yeah, I didn't see that coming. I was like, artifacts that give you stats that are like super game changing. I never expected that.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, it really is.
I love the way you put it too. Is throwing a rock in the pond and watching everything get mixed up. It's great.
Yeah.
At Bamboozy123, what are you most excited for in Rise of Iron so far? What is that thing? Is it the artifacts across the board?
No, not for me.
Ornaments.
Maps. New maps.
Maps.
Me, it's.
I'm so excited to be able to go flawless in trials and get the full ornament gear going on and be like, this is because I play trials. This is what I enjoy. I enjoy PvP. You can see that by looking at my armor. I'm super excited about that.
I'm going to say the raid. Raid for me.
Yeah, it's new endgame content for me. I love the idea of endgame.
At Michael, regarding artifacts, will you be able to switch them mid-match? I personally hope you can't, and you're locked into your decision.
I highly, highly doubt they're going to have any restrictions on them being able to switch in between.
Because that's not a feature we have right now, where you go into a game and it's locked. So if they ever did that, then that would be a case. But I don't see them just locking an artifact and not locking your gun or your subclass.
What if they drop that, actually? What if they're like, hey, new feature, this playlist locks your loadout?
I think that would be counterintuitive to the way that they've approached your PvP encounters so far. You always have the freedom to see what your opponents are using and try and adjust to it, and I think that the artifacts are going to be no different.
I agree.
Yeah.
At Joseph Banez, don't you think sprint cooldown should have just been fixed altogether and not made into an artifact?
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Same as I would love bones to be the default movement for it.
For the first 8 months of Destiny, I thought it was a bug.
No, I thought it was a bug too.
No, like they were like they stated that really early on, from what I remember, because people were complaining about it, and they're like, no, that's like to keep you from being able to like just slide everywhere. So it's like, well, yeah, I can understand it, and like I got used to it, but it's still. It's one of those things that there's no visual notification. It's one of those things you have to kind of like keep it in the back of your head, and occasionally, there's so much shit going on that you just don't realize that it's there. So,
Yeah.
At The Rock Guitar, is it true Radagast will reflect a Nova Bomb? If so, isn't that OP? Shatter.
It's not OP.
Wouldn't Shatter be like the counter for Radagast?
It's super situational. It's super situated because you have to have your heavy ammo in PvP.
Yep.
And then you have to still have it while someone tries to Nova Bomb you.
And
you're going to be lucky to have the opportunity to do that once every 5 matches. You'll be lucky to have those starts.
That's why there's going to be like reflecting Nova Bomb montages, because it's not going to be a frequent thing that happens.
I wonder if Shatter
and then
will,
to get a kill from it too.
Do it, because with Shatter you got the 3 Nova Bombs. Like, I wonder if you could reflect the middle one, but the 2 on the sides will kill you anyway.
You can.
It's just making me think of the OG Ganondorf fights.
That's what I'm thinking. No, I can't wait. I can't wait to like see some epic montage of someone like batting it back, and then maybe someone else on the other side, like an impromptu badminton match.
Yeah. Oh man, imagine that! Oh, that would be sick.
That would be sick.
What if you could do that in customs, though? If they do give us customs, you could be like, your super's always charged, and be like, all right, you got to tee off.
How long can we keep this Nova back and forth?
Yeah, you got to tee off your Nova, and then that's like the match that you're playing.
It's like a game of Pong.
I
mean, think about it in like Overwatch. Like you can do you can set up a custom game, so then you can set up no cooldowns in there, and we saw people playing like reflecting Genji and then reflecting Symmetra's orb or something back and forth.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And they said they're releasing the super awesome thing the communities wanted on the 16th.
Yeah. Game Informer specifically said that.
Game Informer specifically said that. So
yeah, so they'll probably have another article or something.
So, that week after Gamescom is ideal. Anything after that, I'm gonna have a newborn in the house.
Oh, congratulations!
We should definitely get you on before that happens.
That's awesome, man! Congratulations.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you everyone for tuning in. This was the 82nd, right? 82nd?
Sure.
82nd episode of Planet Destiny Podcast. If you want to find me at Holtzman_PD on Twitter, or just at Holtzman on Twitch. Find me there too.
I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me on Twitter at the Briar Rabbit. You can find me on YouTube on the Briar Rabbit channel, or streaming on Twitch. Just look up Briar Rabbit.
I'm Tefty. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. Catch me on streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft, and on the Planet Destiny channel as well, twitch.tv/planet_Destiny.
I'm Miss 5000 Watts. You can find me on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter at Miss 5000 Watts.
I'm True Vanguard. My content's bad. Don't go look for it.
It's great.
All right.
It's been expanded.
All right. There we go. All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next week.